Well, hello everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah,
Hello, welcome, welcome. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
it's Valentine's Day. Happy Love Day. How are you, Jules?
I'm good. Good to see you, Rhonda. For those that are joining us live, First Day Art of Experience Challenge, put in the chat something you want to celebrate in the spirit of love. What is one thing that you want to celebrate in the spirit of love? And where are you tuning in from today? I know we've got quite a global audience that is with us. So let us know where in the world you are tuning in from and what are you celebrating today?
Yeah. Yeah, welcome. Good to see you, Laura and Beata. I know Beata's in Costa Rica, looks like. Oh, hey, Andrea. Awesome. Good to see you guys. So fun. Hey, and don't forget, everyone, while you're, sharing it with us and jumping on here, let us know. Or please share this. You can go directly to my Facebook page. You can share this. You can invite others as well. We'd love to have you guys here. All right, Spain in the house. Look at Michelle Gabriel from Costa Rica.
Ireland, Belgium. Hi, Astrid.
Excellent. Wow. Lebanon. Hi. Good to see you, Raya.
Rita from Finland, Penne from Ormond Beach, Florida. Erin, so good to see you here. I know you just had another baby, I think, as well in Virginia. So good. Andrea,
Wow.
Utah, South Africa, Israel. Wow.
Unreal. Check this out. This is amazing. Great to see you all. Yeah, in the art of, hey, Misty Kelly, in the art of, really talking about love and being visible, putting ourselves out there, like even just doing that, right? Just saying where you're from, what are you celebrating is like a big step for so many people. And Jules and I are really excited, you guys. Wow. We're so excited about just talking about this next 3 days. We're going to do a really deep dive on what is it being visible, what does it take, and what is 2024 going to mean for you? Jules, why don't you pop in here, because you and I have been really like diving in this whole week. In fact, I'm actually here in Colorado. I'm not even in a normal place. Jules is upstairs, I'm downstairs in her
We're,
beautiful
we're,
home.
we're tuning in from Boulder and just loving all the rest of the chat that's coming in. Laura from Southeast Florida, Charlotte, North Carolina, Rayla from Germany. So good to see you all. And if you are catching us on the replay, make sure you say replay and still feel free to comment and share. And so, this conversation, The Art of Being Visible, actually began at an Unconventional Life event in Nepal. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with me, I'm the founder of a company called Unconventional Life. We do bucket list experiences in exotic locations all over the world, these 5-day life and business accelerators. And we just did one in Nepal in December. And I remember giving a talk there, and I stepped out on stage, and it was an incredible talk. And someone came up to me afterwards and was like, "That was the best thing I've ever heard. I actually think you need to do this as a TEDx." He's like, "Have you done this like 20 times before?" And I was like, "No, this talk was just for this event." So he ends up connecting me to the TEDx organizer, who is in Bulgaria. We have a conversation. They're totally full. They're like, "We can't make room." Next thing I know, she's like, "Give us a pitch anyways." I give her the pitch, and they end up moving someone out of the slot, and I'm literally leaving Monday to give my first TEDx talk in Bulgaria. So talk about instant, right, visibility that happens. But I find that when you are prepped, when you're ready, and I'm going to create the assumption here that if you're in this conversation, you're ready to take what you've been doing. As Rhonda says it, you go from best kept secret to world-renowned brand. You're ready to take a bigger stage. And I had said to myself, it was 6 months prior, and I'm loving the woot-woots in the chat. Thank you all. That 6 months prior, I was like, I really am ready to give a TEDx talk. And I was like, I'm really ready to step into a bigger stage. And we have this formula, which I'm going to teach here, and I call it the manifestation equation. And when you put your intention towards something, and then you put your attention on it, it actually allows those things to manifest in your life. And my formula is the I am. So our intention plus our attention equals the manifestation. And by declaring that, I had set the stage. And so when the invitation came in Nepal, I had someone come up to me after, like, "Didn't someone just invite you to give a TEDx? Shouldn't you be like very excited?" And I was, of course, excited. But more than that, I knew it was coming. I was expecting it. And so consider here that there are things in your life opportunities that are already available to you. And sometimes we live in this conversation called the gap. There's where I am now. There are the things that I want and desire. And here in the chat, put some of those things that you want and desire. What are some of those visibility things? I just shared mine was the TEDx, but is there a particular stage or a particular book or a particular way of upping your visibility game that you want for yourself? Put your version of that in the chat right now. And I find that those things are available to us, but we just need to clear the space in order for them to land in our life. And what I actually had to confront is, for me, I didn't have a fear of failure. There was a fear of success. And me stepping out into a deeper level of visibility actually meant confronting, well, if I'm bigger and more visible, how many more people am I going to have to be responsible for? Am I going to compromise my quality of life? Am I going to compromise my health? And I think that these are a lot of things that we're going to uncover as we unpack our work here, as well together. So just laying some foundational seeds as we plant these visibility things. And I'm loving seeing what we're playing for. Astrid's got a book she's done. Andrea's got podcast, YouTube channel, known for my own music. Yes, I hear you there as well. My business, singing, signing, and dancing in public again. Yeah, I love that.
So good, right? It feels, I remember that moment, Jules, when we were actually in Nepal. Jules and I were in Nepal together. And, this last, several years in my life, our family 16 years ago actually stepped out in a really crazy big way. In fact, we decided to sell everything we had and start traveling around the world and sharing our voice and telling people about our story. But the part that really most people don't know is that they think, oh, look, they've been traveling around the world and they've got all this, great things and businesses. But what happened is that we actually lost everything. And losing everything was the catapult to us taking our power back from not being aligned or attached to, let's say, what our bank account looked like or what people thought of us, because we had invested in a very big real estate development in 07, 08. And if many of you have been around back then and know about it, a lot of people lost a lot of money at that time and they lost their properties. And I tell you, it brings me back, Jules, the moment that we found out we were losing everything. We had this big house, all these things, right? And we ended up, I felt like my identity was gone, that I couldn't face anyone. In fact, I had very close friends that were like, you need to be more responsible. You guys need to go back and get your jobs. This internet business thing that you're doing is not working. And I was so afraid. I was so afraid to go and actually start telling that story or start talking about what happened to us and really what we wanted out of our life, no matter what was happening. And I remember that fear. And how many of you have been a part, and this is really beautiful. I love this. There's so many great things coming through. I have to show this because Michelle Gabriel, by the way, it's just amazing. And you guys are like, just seeing this energy of what you're doing is like, it just puts me in such an exciting space, because how often, and share this, how often have you been in a moment or a time where you want to share something or you want to do something big, but fear or what other people are going to think about you cripple you from doing it? How many, has that ever happened to any of you?
Just put yes in the chat if it has. Fear has stopped you from being able to really go after, or circumstance, life.
Exactly.
I will put yes in the chat for myself.
Right?
Absolutely.
And this is so great, right? It's like, it's not what happens to us or where we are or what people think. It's our self-worth and how we believe in ourselves. And I tell you, that day that we had this realization that what's in our bank account does not make us who we are. What happened to us does not make us worse parents or less than leaders that can leave an impact in the world. And from that day on, Jules, I made a decision, and many of you can make this decision today, that is, no matter what, if I care about leaving an impact on the world, I'm going to do it scared. I'm going to do it no matter what, because the world deserves our stories. And how often do we share what we love, but then we pull back? We just don't go for it. Well, that's why Jules and I have come today, because we came together in Nepal and I shared something that I had never done before, which was share my voice in song. And
I remember that.
Jules, I was like, I'm actually going to share, I'm going to sing. And by our book launch that we have coming forward, our upcoming book launch, I'm going to sing for the audience. I am so scared. I am so scared to sing. And we've got so many people like, yes, yes, wow. Right. You're like stepping in, saying yes to That's fear of what can happen to us. And it was a big thing for me, Jules. And I think that's why you and I said, okay, if both of us are doing something so outrageous and people look at us and think, well, they've got it all together, right? They've got it. They can do it. They're doing it every day. But can we both reveal how scary it gets to step into that space?
Absolutely. And, I think normalizing that our humanity, and I'm seeing a lot of yeses in the chat. And yeah, I'm going to do it scared. Love that moment. Oh, Stacy, good to see you on here as well. Yeah, glad to see you. So thrilled to be in the Women Got Wild Wealth edition. That, I find part of our human experience is we're going to have a range of emotion. And oftentimes we think I'm the only one who feels like imposter syndrome or not good enough,
right,
or scared, and if you've got a thing that in the chat is your tell, I call it, sometimes it's the thing that shuts you down. It's your kill switch. For me, for a long time, it was like, especially with my music, I'm a music artist. I go by the name Jules King, which has been a big rebrand. And it was the most shy part of my self-expression. I could start multiple 6-figure, 7-figure companies, but it took me 9 years to make my first music album. And now I'm literally like working in Nashville with some of those incredible Grammy-winning songwriters, and we're about to relaunch this project here. But it took really confronting this not enoughness in myself. Yeah. And the second I would feel that sensation, just like fear is a sensation, it would literally become so big. My assistant would say, I feel it. And then I would literally shut it down. And it would be like I couldn't hold all of it. And part of this visibility conversation, and it's so beautiful, what you're saying as well, Rhonda, is the ability to say, I'm a woman, I'm a man who gets to hold all of it. The opportunity here in 2024, we have come out of what I call the great pause, whether COVID is how I relate to it. But there is a slingshot effect, a compound effect that is available for us here. And being able to say, life happens, we're all human, we all deal with crap, we all feel fear, we all have these sensations. And instead of collapsing, I'm someone who can expand. And that's what I want to offer you here. If you want to claim that for yourself, I get to expand. You can put I get to expand into the chat. Being visible is the allowance of all of those things and holding them, feeling it anyways, and expanding into the desire that you want and the vision that you have. And today's, session is really about activating your voice, really claiming that for yourself. Yes, Stacy, I get to expand, because that's really what the conversation is. And you make a choice. And the only difference, in my opinion, between some of the greats that are doing things or me actually saying why I'm doing these TEDx and why I'm getting these albums is I just chose, I get to expand. And if you look at an incredible performance or a songwriter, what makes someone extraordinary? In my opinion, it's the full ownership of going all in on whatever game you're playing. And when you feel someone embodied in their all-inness of choice, that's the stuff that resonates. That's that yes feeling. That's the thing that has someone go, whoa, that person, whatever they're doing, it's their frequency, it's their energy, it's their embodiment. And that is the very thing, in my opinion, that sells. And we're going to dive into all of that. So loving watching all these, I get to expand. And
but it's so brilliant, because how many of us will speak something into existence, right? Because the moment we put the universe into conspiring with us and feeling it is the moment we put it out there, the moment we step in. And how often have you said something and then you go, oh my gosh, goose chills, right? That is the indicator that says, yes, there's something there energetically moving. The universe wants you to be there, to expand. And now look at just look at what's happening right now. Like, let's just talk about the effect of just in being involved and actually saying yes, right, Jules? Like the effect of the amount of people being involved, you're participating right now with creation. Just this kind of involvement. That means even anything with you just stepping up and saying, yes, I'm doing this. Scared, not sure how, full of fear, yet knowing that the moment you feel it, the universe is conspiring with you, wants you to be successful, right? And feeling those frequencies within your system. That's why when Jules and I were like having this conversation, right? And we're like, all of a sudden she goes, visible. It's 2024, it's visible. It's the art of being, we have to do something about the art of being
visible. That's my word for the year, visible. I'm claiming that word for the year, yeah.
Right? And that's what it was. It was like, because I'm talking, certainly we've got a lot of our authors here. We've got this book series that we do. It's beautiful. And all these women are stepping into their visibility. And I'm sure any of you authors that might already be here, or if you are an author, have you ever put your words on paper or have said you're going to be visible and then you go, oh, will anyone read it? Will anyone watch my video? Will anyone show up to my event? In those moments, those questionable moments are those that you feel into, and then you step into saying, it doesn't matter what happens. Jules, when I started my business, I did thousands of live videos. No one showed up for like the first couple months. No one showed up. But because I was willing, and I said, if I'm going to leave an impact, I have to be willing to do it, scared to keep going. And guess what? After 2 months, 10 people, 5 people, thousands, millions of people I've had on not only my lives, my shows. I've hosted a show at NASDAQ, right? We've stood on stages in front of women sharing our wild stories. But every single time there's that goosebump that makes you go, yes, this is right. And then that stomach that goes, should I do it? Right?
And that is what I want to really echo here, is the power of being in a collective conversation. And that is very much why we decided to host this as a challenge. I was like, visible. I saw someone else, Holistic Views, like, I'm claiming that as my word. Any of you can claim visible as your word as well, if that feels right for you this year. But it really gets done in community. And I find where we orient, I really believe our word creates our world. Where we orient our conversation is what dictates our lives. And oftentimes we've inherited this linear reality perspective. A plus B equals C in terms of success. There's a very predictable reality. Maybe it's like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go to work. It's a very predictable thing. Maybe there's the possibility that I'll get a promotion and great, something epic will happen. And then there's this domain of potentiality. It's what we don't even know that we don't even know is possible, and consider that that is available to you right now. I call that the nonlinear reality creation. It's the field of miracles. It's how TEDx invitations just show up at your Nepal event, and next thing you know, it's not even like, hey, cool, see you in 6 months. It's like, yeah, can you do this in a month? Yeah. Can you write a TEDx talk on a month? That those things aren't unique to us. But when you decide what game you're playing, right? Am I playing the game of predictable or possible, linear reality, or am I playing the game of potentiality? I'm playing in the field of miracles. You play in that and orient there. Then it requires a community, a conversation that supports you there. And this conversation over the next 3 days, I want you to consider this is your conversation for the field of miracles the next few days. This is the conversation that says you can dream big, you can name what you want, you can claim it, and you can own it, and you have a listening. You don't have someone that's going to poo-poo your thing that's like, well, have you thought about this? You want to start a business, but the economy is bad. Have you thought about this, but this doesn't work? It actually gives you the space to say yes. And so if you also want to orient your game, I'm playing for the field of miracles these 3 days.
Yes.
I'm playing for the field of miracles over the next 3 days. And that's all it takes is collective intention with our collective attention. And let's see what we can manifest. Yes. I am effect. So if you're in the I am effect, put that in the chat. I am effect, or I'm claiming the field of miracles for this week. And I really want to share that this is something that you don't participate passively. There's a lot of things we sign up. And I know you give your time and your talent, we don't take that lightly. And I just want you to consider that this could actually be a moment over the next 3 days, if you play out in this co-created conversation that I'm in my I am effect, I'm playing in the field of miracles, that this really actually could be a mile marker and gets to be a mile marker where you go, that was a defining moment. There was a before and there was an after. And this is my reveal. This is my launch, because I have a collective conversation that is orienting towards my success. This gets to be an outlet in your life where you have a collective conversation orienting towards your success. And that's freaking cool.
Yes, I love it. And this, just right now alone, everyone saying I am, this is your claim. We are putting, it's like every time I stake that claim, it's like you're literally putting that's that claim. You're putting the flag that says, I'm here. I'm here. And I love, though, I want to bring this up, Jules, because Penny Pierce is the forward of the Women Gone Wild intuition book that's launching this June. And she's a thought leader on intuition and, expanding vibrationally. But I love what you say though, Penny, because this is identification. This is you identifying, what is the energy that we give out? And then who do we want to actually attract and bring in? And, experiencing she's saying expanding vibrationally, not always everyone understands it. And this is so important. It's really protecting our energy and our vibration and knowing that when we do put things out there, there will be others that will attract. And this is where, Jules, you and I have been having this conversation about who do we actually want in our sphere? Who do we want in our space? We get to choose. So even though we have this step out and attract, and the vibrational energy allows those to attract to us, but we also have to be aware. And that's really this is about, is being not only aware of what you give out, but also what you're attracting, and being able to discern what is it that you want to stay in your sphere. Because we know all of us have been in moments in time where, we're so out there, we're open, all of a sudden, like negativity might come in. But to be able to be aware of, wait, actually that doesn't match. That isn't a vibrational match. And this is really, Jules, I believe why we decided to put this together. It's because this is the moment we put the stake, we anchor in what is the frequency we want to attract, so that you can feel and you'll know the moment it's not right, we move it. But the moment it's right, we have to move on it, because that's when alignment, this is when quantum jumps and leaps start to happen. Like out of nowhere, Jules gets a TEDx talk just because she said she wanted to do it.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. And that is exactly how the stuff that compounds. And so, yeah, I'm loving all the I ams here. And I want to actually start diving into, some of this. And, I really want to peel back the layers here as we look at what it takes to activate our voice, right? And it can be a very intimidating conversation. And if you've had moments in your life, maybe even starts, grade school, we put our hand up in the air and we think we know the right answer to something, and like the kids laugh at us because we don't. Or someone like, for example, you have a performance, or maybe you're on stage and you forget your words, or you're singing and you flub, and everyone laughs at you. Or worse, no one says anything. And you're like, I make a decision that instead of the world being possible, I'm now going to come here. Or maybe vice versa, you rocked it so hard and your life blew up and you lost yourself in it and you had incredible success. And then you were like, but what about me in the process? And so if there are some things that you're aware of, we have these both conscious and subconscious things when it comes to your voice, just starting to get in relationship. When you think about activating your voice, stepping out into more visibility, what comes up? What is the fear? And just put that in the chat. Yeah. What are some of the things that For me, like I said, it was fear of success. I actually got quite sick in 2020. I had been running multiple 7-figure company and, ended up getting confronted. It was actually right around COVID. We were going to do this event on a cruise ship called Entrepreneurship for 500 people. And then it was like cruise ships, COVID, Italy, and overnight it got shut down, lost $2 million worth of revenue that was supposed to happen. And it was like my system for a long time had been avoiding burnout. And if I had told the truth to myself for years prior, I was doing all the right things, but they stopped feeling right. You ever been in that space? You're doing the right things, but they stop feeling right. And it took that kill switch called entrepreneurship and losing that money for my system, I think, for the first time to just fully turn the light switch off. And over the course of the next many months, I started having all these physical issues, joint pain, neurological stuff. I remember some mornings it was so impossible to get to the kitchen, and everything I did, it was like everything that got me there, nothing could take me to that next step. And I remember trying to meditate and eat healthier and all these things. And finally, I was diagnosed with reactivated Epstein-Barr. They told me I had early onsets of MS, and my brain chemistry tanked to the ground. And for the first time, instead of seeing things in this possible way, I was really confronted with feeling complete. If this is what life's about, being all the things for everyone, if I had looked at all the podcasts that I've done, I have this Big Unconventional Life podcast, all the events that I had led for people all over the world, all the coaching, all the things, all the success ornaments, I'll call them, that I thought would have me feel a certain way. But what it really did is it gave me all this external stuff, but it didn't give me this internal sense. And it took my physical system and my mental system and my spiritual system to hit the override and to say, Jules, if you're really going to go to this next phase of yourself, this isn't the way. And I think for some of us, we've gotten to a version where we've gotten to this and we're like, if this is the way, I don't want to keep going in this way. And when I finally sat in that space for a while and started turning my attention inward on myself, and I'm like, well, what if I'm complete? And if it's not about anything else, what if it just became about finding 5 minutes of joy every single day? And I remember I would even sit out in the sunlight for 5 minutes or walk to the cul-de-sac out in my mountain house. And those moments were the things that started to bring my spark, my aliveness back. And slowly those 5 minutes of sun turned into an hour, which turned into a few hours. And slowly, as the weeks went on, after about a year of dealing with this autoimmune, I nursed myself back to health and was able to actually come back full scale. And it was wild. I never thought I would do events again and never thought I would be this Jules King music artist. All these things would show up. But I had to learn how to run my energy in a different way. And I told it to myself that I thought scaling in this massive way would give me what I wanted, but I had to learn how to run my energy in a different way. And I imagine some of you here might be at the intersection where you've gotten success, or you've had different things, and you need to learn to run your energy in a different way. And we're going to talk about that as we move through on. And I'm actually going to bring us into a little activation, meditation here in just a moment. And then Rhonda's going to cue us up with some great storytelling frameworks. That's what we got coming for you, and a great guest speaker after that. But I want to just normalize that life gives us things. We really get to choose. And I'm seeing a lot of this, here as well, just the different fears that are coming in, what people are saying as well. And that was my own version of it. But when we look at visibility, it's confronting this stuff. I had to actually confront. I didn't want what I thought visibility's formula was. I didn't want to do more of that. That made me sick. Even though externally it was great. If you don't enjoy your life and you're not fulfilled and you don't feel good about it, then what's the point of doing any of it? And that, I think, is what we've all learned in this post-COVID era. It's got to feel good. And when people are buying what we're selling, they're buying our energy. They're buying our congruency. They're buying our resonance. And that's not something you describe. You either feel it or you don't feel it. It's a yes or it's a no. And so as we're here, in this, just like allowing this to be the space, and I can say full force, now what's showing up in the space that I've got visibility coming in now, I'm like, this is sustainable. I'm in the game of sustainable visibility over a lifetime. And if you're also in that game, put me in the chat, being in the game of sustainable visibility over a lifetime. And if that's the case, consider your success is inevitable. And when I got clear that I didn't have to do in a certain amount of time, in 2 years, I needed to be Forbes this, and I needed to be under 30 that, and win the awards of that, I took the pressure off of what I wanted to have happen. And I allowed the space for what actually wanted to happen. When you start collaborating in that field of miracles, that field of potentiality, that is where you, as Rhonda was sharing, we hit these quantum accelerators. And it feels good, it can be easy, and it can be effortless when we intend ourselves there. And so I just want to name that as a thing and really layer, the foundation here. And Rhonda, turn that over to you.
No, because if we're looking at, I'm just watching everyone's, like, you're revealing, and this is such a amazing safe place to actually reveal, because first thing to know, when I'm looking at this, I'm going, I'm not alone. How many of you are watching others share their fears, that you're not alone? And this is why community and being together and having others that are next to you when you're ready to step into that biggest visible space, whether it's just you telling your story on a live video, whether it's you let's say being published in a magazine or being in a book, let alone like literally knowing that others have been there. I mean, we're all at a different level, but when we get to connect and we say, wow, they're just like me. Stacey's just like me. Like, how many of us have thought we're alone? And that's why being in this game of sustainability for your future and knowing where others are at and being able to feel safe in that space, this is when the magic starts to happen. And truly, this is where, I'm in the field of PR, media. I own a branding and PR firm. And I see this so often. Those are like, yeah, I'm ready to go. but all the fear starts to creep in. Really? Someone's going to read my story? I have to actually be bold enough to say, I am amazing and I deserve you to look at me or you to listen to me or the world to hear my story. Like, am I really? And I watch this. And then when they realize there's others just like us, it just gives us that permission. How many of you have been in a moment or even just now today, say, I have the permission now to be bold, to be visible. If you have felt just by those of you sharing in this community, in this space, that you now have the permission to be afraid, to do it scared, but to be bold and to be visible, put that in the comments as well. Because that right there has created something that none of us can ever ask for. We can't create on our own. We can do it as a community and being together.
Yeah.
And so why don't we? Yeah, 100%. We've got, yes, I'm giving myself permission. Be bold. Yeah, Astrid, like this is the deservingness, right? Michelle, this is when we know we deserve it. Nothing else is going to get in our way. Jules, why don't we do that? Take this moment of this deserving and feeling that we are worthy of creating sustainable visibility in our life and our business that is graceful, it is calm, it is attractive into our life. And let's lead them into something really special. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. And as we, start to go in there to kind of wrap it up, this extreme perspective, sometimes it's the highs and lows. I vary for a long time, and I know you, Rhonda, as well. I was addicted to the highs or lows. I was either on going 100 miles per hour, and I was like a force, or it was off with the light switch. I was in bed. I was like recovering, burnout. If you've subscribed to the highs or lows, you can put me in the chat too. But it was like all or nothing. And then it hit me.
Hold on. You just gave me like ridiculous. Like, I don't know about anyone. I just got like, right?
Yeah. And so it was like, if all is at 100 miles per hour, like, well, holy crap, I got to be super ready and perfect in order to step into all, or I'm not doing all. And if out and off was the other option, then I was burnout, tired, exhausted, succumbed to the fear, in the dip, whatever you want to call it. It was really when I shifted to the sustainability concept after what I went through in 2020, that it became the compound effect. I am the compound effect now, where I can rest, I can create, but I'm not this or that. I'm literally creating and I'm resting and chilling. I'm creating, I'm resting and chilling. And the magic of it is that is how quickly the things do happen as we show up. And so, really normalizing that there as we take these kind of things and the sustainable visibility into this activation. So if y'all are ready, we're going to go into the chat and just loving these things. Missy, it's been such a learning curve that it doesn't always have to be the pedal to the metal, right? And here's the thing, pedal to the metal is linear reality perspective. You have got to every day show up 1,000,000 miles an hour in order to get results. Non-linear reality perspective, field of miracle perspective says that I can actually take action 20% of the time and get the 80% of my results in my 20% of action. Just consider that for a minute. And we're going to dive more into that as we go here. But I actually can be on 20% of the time and see results 80% of the time when you're really intentional with that I am, your energy and all the things. So we're going to dive into how we do some of that in this activation. Then we're going to come out and give you some storytelling framework. So all right.
Start it up, give them the instructions. I'll cue us up for.
All right. So go ahead, put the hands off the screens, the typing, and allow yourself to settle in. Close your eyes and feel your feet grounding down to whatever chair you might be sitting in. Feeling your breath, taking some more spaciousness in your breathing. Go ahead and reach your arms out behind you. Extend your fingertips. Lift your heart up towards the sky, feeling your chest open. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Feeling everything slow down, feel more spaciousness here. Into your body, more spaciousness behind the back of your head. Just imagine here that you've got a giant golden sun above the crown of your head. I want you to feel this sun like a magnet, This is the magnetic sun of all of your life force potential. And I want you to feel this magnet in this moment as you activate it. Feel yourself orienting to the sun. And I want you in this moment to draw forth all of the support in your life into the sun. Feeling the sun expand with all of the support. Maybe it's the support from your loved one or your partner. Maybe it's your kids if you have them. Maybe it's friends. And I want you to feel, as you put your intention on the amount of support, the cheerleaders in your life rooting for you, you feel the sun getting bigger and bigger. Maybe in this very moment, you start to feel the glow of the sun on your face, even making your body hotter and warmer as you allow the sun to expand even more. Feeling this sun here as it gets brighter, I want you to bring in anywhere you might have even left your energy. Any places you might have abandoned yourself, any places you might have gotten scared. I want you to draw that energy into the sun. Full potency of your life force activating in this very single moment. Feeling your body, your spirit, your mind drawing forth your energy into the sun. And on the count of 3, I want you to imagine this sun. Maybe you even bring in your ancestors or those that have passed as well. I want you to feel the full support of your body, your being fully in the sun over your head, feeling it fully and completely here in 3, 2, 1. Feel it. Take a big breath all the way in. And a big breath all the way out. As you feel this sun here over your crown of your head, in a moment, I'm going to actually imagine you to prick the sun, and you're going to feel the full potency of this life force begin to drain like beautiful golden liquid, activating honey and nectar in through the crown of your head. And go ahead here and prick the sun and feel the sun begin to pour its golden life force in through the crown of your head. Activating your face, this golden nectar, into your body, into your heart, feeling it move down your neck, expanding through your chest, expanding through your fingertips, your golden life force feeling received, the circle of reciprocity of your golden life force into your hips and your womb. Feel it moving down your legs, your knees, your toes, your feet, all the way through. And as you feel all this life force draining out from the sun, take a big breath all the way into your life force. And a big breath all the way out. Feeling yourself here as the full potent creator that you are, allowing yourself to magnetize here in this space. As we come into the stillness of the space, Rhonda quietly turning off the music as we feel the space here, our full activation of the space. And as you feel yourself here fully alive and turned on, I want you to imagine this pathway emerges in front of you, and seeing this pathway into this nature scene. And I want you to feel the most beautiful sunny day around you. This is the day you're revealing, you're coming out, knowing in this very moment that you have all things equipped to you, that your voice is fully activated within you, that your support is fully received within you. And I want you to feel yourself walk down this path, stepping into the stage ahead. This is the stage of your life, and I want you to feel your feet here. And maybe you look around and you see a beautiful meadow. Maybe you hear the sound of water. Maybe you feel the sun beaming through. And just behind this next bend, you're going to allow a scene to emerge of your fully expressed visibility. And I want you to see a door appear here in this scene. In just a moment, you're going to open the door, but I want you to feel your feet here. I am in this moment fully equipped with everything I need. I am in this moment fully activated as the visible me. I am in this moment ready to receive. I am visibility. I am me. And I want you to see that door in front of you, and I want you to go ahead and reach for the door. And if you don't see it, sense or imagine it. And I want you to put your handle on the doorknob. And in just a moment, you're going to imagine what's on the other side of the door, this stage for you to step out into. Go ahead, open the door, step through the door, close the door behind you, and feel yourself emerge into this beautiful stage. This is the ultimate expression of your visibility. And before you can even see, maybe it's an audience on the other side and they're clapping, or maybe you're about to give the most extraordinary musical performance of your life and the crowd is calm and quiet. And I want you to notice, before you even look out, how do you feel? Maybe you even look down at yourself fully adorned in an epic outfit. Maybe you're barefoot and you're about to meet with a bunch of mamas and you're leading a circle for sustainability in your community or whatever it is. I want you to see yourself here and imagine almost as if you're looking at yourself as a bird's eye. How do you look? Is your hair a certain way? Is you wearing a color lipstick? Are you dressed a certain way? And how do you feel? And noticing without effort any details, I want you to feel this stage that's out in front of you. And I want you to receive the attention of visibility, knowing yourself as I am someone who expands. And maybe they're interviewing you on a talk show. Maybe you're giving a book signing and you're literally sitting at a table and you watch a crowd in a line in front of you. And I want you to notice what it's like to be invisible and to hear people saying yes to you. And I want you to feel the resonant sound of yes, the resonant sound of when I use my voice, people bring me yes. And in this moment, bridging the gap that all timelines are available, yes to money, yes to timelines, yes to clients, yes to people cheering me on, yes, yes, yes. And taking a moment here to receive the sounds. Maybe it's the sounds of people, the sounds of yourself, fully taking it all the way in and breathing that feeling all the way in. And breathing it all the way out. And feeling that stage slowly begin to dissolve as you find yourself once again in this nature scene. And I want you to feel your heart as you receive all of what you've gotten into this scene. And I want you to imagine a seed plants in your hand, and you find yourself looking at a beautiful garden or a patch of dirt, and this seed is what you're going to plant for yourself, for your voice, for your message over the next 3 days. And I want you to feel yourself now in this moment, or imagine yourself coming down and making contact with the earth. And I want you to take that seed in your hand, and I want you to go ahead and plant that seed. And imagining yourself, maybe you're planting it into a flower, you're planting it into a garden. And I want you to feel your intention in your hands. Our hands activate our creations into life in the physical world. Feel the intention of your hands, putting this seed of visibility into this earth. And as you release the seed into the earth, I want you to feel a jolt of joy leap through your body. Maybe it's a bit of gratitude or pleasure or desire that instantly, as you put your intention on something, your attention starts to grow. Feeling yourself growing, your vibration extending, your vibration ascending, feeling your intention expanding. And knowing that that beautiful seed is going to be here and we'll come back to it. And as you feel your feet sitting in this chair, feeling that seed, taking a moment just to be still with yourself and saying anything that you might need to say, acknowledging anything there is, and talking to yourself here for just a few moments in this still space. And as you hear whatever there is to hear, imagine the sound of a bird chirping or a sound of celebration happening. As you allow the seed to grow and feeling your feet, in just a moment we'll come back connecting the seeded garden with this moment and choosing the you that you get to be in this moment in just a few minutes as we open our eyes. Knowing that my divine plant provides the intention for me to grow. Here I fully receive all that is activated in my flow. My story is worthy of sharing because I am the one that brings through all of what I am hearing. That I expand into all that I create and I make no mistakes. That this is all the pleasure that I get to take in the I amness that I make. And receiving that, breathing that feeling all the way in and all the way out. And choosing the world you get to see as you open your eyes here in this moment. And it's the big stage!
Feel that, anchor that in. Feeling that power of walking onto the stage and knowing that your voice and what you have to share truly matters. How many of you felt that? Share a little bit about what your experience just was and what are you committing to?
Yeah, and as we're here in these few moments, I know some of us are coming back. You can either take a journal, write down what are you claiming, claim that in the chat for yourself, claim that within yourself, and that seed, hold it sacred of what you're planting. Yeah, beautiful.
Good, yes.
Is that silver hair I see? I love it. So we're gonna take just a moment here and actually give you the opportunity. You're all muted, and then we're going to actually move into storytelling. And so I just want you here, you're muted. You're gonna speak out loud for 30 seconds. Rhonda's gonna put on some background music. And the only rule here is you can't stop talking. And I just want you to speak as if you've just come out onto the stage, anything there is for you to say or to announce. It's the only premise. Don't stop talking. It doesn't matter if you know what you're going to say. I'm going to give you 30 seconds here. I just want you to speak out loud to yourself. Stream of consciousness, whenever you're present in this moment. Time you get to announce it, whatever it is that you want to say. Another 10 seconds or so, just speak out loud whatever there is for you to say.
Universe is listening.
Yes, speak it out loud. Another 10 seconds or so. Yeah. All right, and allowing those last words as we come back here and knowing that as a practice you get to continue, but this is your initiation into your visibility activation.
How does it feel? Yes, I love it. Planting seeds for pollination, pollinators, joyful pollinators, more of that, right? More of that. I love this exercise, Jules. We did this in Nepal. And in fact, Jules had us all walking for an hour and a half down the Himalayas that we were hiking, and we were speaking into existence. And I spoke into existence this moment right here with people from all over the world sharing what they want, contributing to the collective energy in the field of possibility, the field of visibility, the field of possibility, and what we want to create together. And look at this, we're seeing it. Missy remembers like an hour and a half worth of just talking to ourselves. What do we want? How do we want it to feel?
Yeah. And that really gets to activate so much of our individual story. And sometimes there are things that are in our unconscious mind that our words actually gets to assist, like this meditation of bringing them to the conscious mind. And part of our homework here is I actually want you to go ahead and have the experience in the physical of planting. And so maybe you go get your visibility plant. It's Valentine's Day. It's perfect. So if you've got flowers, maybe you pull one of those flowers and you plant that outside somewhere. I want you to have the experience. And if there are things you saw in that meditation, sometimes I was wearing a white dress one time and I went and I found a white dress, so you could buy a white dress. Notice the details when we have them in that spot, in that subliminal space, and we bring them into our physical space. It's how we connect that dot. We accelerate that manifestation in such a rapid way. So take whatever you saw and bridge it into the physical world, whatever way that looks for you. And we're going to plant that seed. And, Rhonda, I think it doves perfectly into where we're headed next in this conversation is we activate here our subconscious mind so that we really get to archive the gold of who we are. And each of us has such a potent, powerful story. And oftentimes we can be like, well, her story is better than mine. And I haven't done what she did. So therefore she's the expert. Or it's been done a million times. Where's the space for me? And I'm actually clear that it's our unique formula. Why we all come from the same source and we're put in separate human bodies, separate human beings, because part of our path here is to uncover our unique formula, understand our full expression of all our unique gifts, own the crap out of that, and then be able to transmit and find the form through our storytelling, through our message to share our unique signature. And when you fully own that 100% potency of your unique signature, that has someone go, that person, I want what she's selling. That person, that story resonates me. That I am the gift. That I am that. And you are the gift. Yeah, go ahead and claim that. I am the gift. If you want to take that for yourself, I love that, Laura. I am the gift. You are the gift. And when you stop looking out and comparing and unsubscribing, I should be further along. I'm too old. That person has the relationships. All men are cheats. All this, that, or the other thing. I don't know where I'm going to find the opportunities. Hit the unsubscribe button today. Go ahead, unsubscribe today on the conversations you're having. Because when you put your intention and your attention on those conversations, you miss out on you being the gift. And that is the only prerequisite to rocking this conversation and owning your story here is unsubscribing to that which does not serve and realizing that your ownership of you as the gift is actually the only thing you need in order to own what there is into the world. And that's what we're going to bring as we bring the storytelling in. And so it's a perfect thing. I'm loving seeing these I am the gift.
Yes.
Literally
it's so powerful. Yeah. Feel it. Yeah, that's right. And so now what we're going to do, and I want to make everyone to, if you have your journal or if you have your, your writing, utensils here, grab something so we can take some really quick notes, but you can anchor in all of these feelings. And in order for me to anchor these in, Jules, I have to write them. Last night we were looking at we're talking it out. I'm like, wait, I have to write it down. The moment we claim it, we write it down and we get ourselves in that space of this is the time. And so what we're going to do now, I love it. Yes, I'm unsubscribing, right? None of us, I love it. Stephanie J, she's one of our authors. She was in Nepal. She says, I am not available for that. Right? I'm just not available for that. And we're not available for the things that are not serving us. And so what I want to do now, just for these couple moments, because we have an unbelievable guest speaker today that's coming on today as well. Barbie Layton, if you know Barbie, stick around. She's absolutely dynamic in what she's creating, because she said, I am the gift, and continue to act on how can I become more visible? How do I share my voice? What does my story, where does it matter? How does it matter? And who can it connect to? And so what we've done is just put a couple moments together for you to not only take this activation, but put it into practical steps. I'm, the work that I do in PR and branding and helping our brands and our audience not only feel what we're creating, but also know how to take action. And so this is a storytelling outline in a framework that we've utilized to not only create an impact, but also allow you to tell your story at the right point in time. what area, what point will land for an audience. And now those of us that are creating, or maybe we have businesses, or we're looking to start something new, or we already have, and we're wondering, how can storytelling help me impact someone's life, make them feel, but also help them move forward and enroll into what you're offering. What are your offerings, whether it's, your coaching or a service that you've got. There are storytelling frameworks that just feel great. And then there's storytelling frameworks that feel great and also get people to move. And that's what this is all about, is how do we change from that old form of marketing, right? That was, push, get in front of more people's faces, to aligning your story with helping them feel into what you're creating, that you're the guide for them. You're the one and the solution that helps them say yes. And this is the frame that we're moving into, on how now marketing is transitioning and moving, and how do we become beacons of light in this space. So I'm going to share, I'm going to pull up this a bit of a slides right now. There's going to be some areas that you're just going to want to just anchor this in and take a quick note, because the art of being visible isn't just about feeling it. It's about doing it, right? And the actions that we take every day, like you were just imagining yourself being on a stage and stepping into that greatness and harnessing that power. Because one thing that we know, even though it starts to feel uncomfortable, visibility will breed success. So all of the claims that we made today that says, I'm going to do it, this is where the success starts to lie. It's where the crumbs and the beams start to come forward. However, we have to know that the key to visibility is actually telling our story.
Yeah. And just to echo on that, if I go back to that Nepal moment, all I did in that talk was tell my story. I talked about having business partners embezzle a bunch of money, being in debt. I talked about autoimmune. I talked about all those things. And it is actually the things we feel most vulnerable about, the things that sometimes we judge the most, we compare the most. Is my story good enough? Do I actually have an interesting story? Do people even give a crap about my story? We actually just own our story, that those things happen. And even another case in point, I know Missy was on this live stream. I shared a demo of mine that was in the process of being done and talked about my journey with music and being this shy part of myself. And lo and behold, she heard the demo and she connected me to this guy who is like a huge record label A&R rep. And now we're in talks, and he's, his writers write 7 #1 hits on all the music charts and stuff. And now that happened because of telling my story. So you never know the one connection that, you never know how close you are to the one connection that's available to you right now in telling your story. But if you don't tell the story and learn, as Rhonda said, and we're going to talk about in a second, how to communicate the story in an effective way, then, you lose the opportunity and miss the opportunity of people getting to feel and know you in the process.
Yeah. And I'm a very strong proponent, and I live by the rule that structure will give us freedom. And it's how do we put in this energy, this feels that we want people to have, but how do we put it into a structure that allows us not only to have freedom within it, but allows others to fully embrace it. Right? Because imagine, right? The deeper secret, though, is when we're stepping on stage and we're putting ourselves out there. And maybe we start to get that uncertainty, like we are all experiencing early on today. It's knowing, though, that our birthright, discomfort, is the birthplace of growth. And knowing that if we are stepping out, and even though maybe our first times our tongue might be twisted or we may be uncertain, just know that when we have a structure or a platform or a space in a place where others are watching, it forges not only meaningful relationships, it allows you to then be seen as the thought leader. Jules, you and I have talked about this quite often, right? That our mission and what the work is that I do in the world, and my transmission is expansion, and helping those feel that discomfort and actually putting them in a book, putting them in PR and media, or putting them on stages, helping them see their story through the eyes of others. That it is, and it can be discomfort. It can be uncomfortable, but that's the moment and the birthplace when we actually begin to grow.
Yeah.
Right? And the most important part is that it gives us It gives others permission to do the same. So the moment that we step into it and say yes is when others get to feel. But we cannot impact others' lives when we're hiding in the shadows. And let's just be honest, how many, and you can just share it in the comments here, have said yes, but then really we know we're actually lying to ourselves because we're not really going all out. I will be the first to say that I am a liar. I'm a liar. I've said, I'm doing it. I'm going big. I'm bold. There's so many things that I can do bigger and bold. So I've been lying to myself because the catch is, even if we do something in front and you are the only one that will know, are you going full out? And are you doing it? Which is why, Jules, I was felt so much nerve running through me when I said, I'm going to sing. Yeah. And in Nepal, you finished the meditation. I just started to sing one of my prayer songs I learned by the fire. But I'm like, how am I going to do this in public?
Yeah, totally. And, Rhonda and I were talking last night, and we miss 100% of the shots we don't take.
That's it.
And that is the thing, we say, I'm ready for this. I'm open to this. And it starts to happen. And often, not saying this, but the predictable, maybe past way, is that you then see those things and you're like, I can't do it. And even this week, so y'all know, I'm leaving on Monday to give a TED Talk. On Sunday, I'm doing a music show where I'm going to reveal the 18 songs. I'm going to do 5 out of the 18 songs I've written the last year for the very first time. And I'm going to accompany myself on the guitar. I just learned guitar 6 months ago. So on Sunday, I'm going to go play 6 songs that I've just written to people who've never heard them. And I'm going to accompany myself on guitar. We're hosting this challenge, and I'm leaving on Monday and finishing a TED Talk. Like, it is a full week. And I was even saying to Rhonda last night, it was like, how does this all happen? Oh, I said I want to be visible. Well, visibility really just accelerated. And the previous version of me would go, oh my goodness, I can't do it. Overwhelm, shut down. We already talked about this. I expand, right? I expand into it. And it's like, we miss 100% of the shots that we don't take. Yes. And this is where you get to really be honest with yourself. You say you want it, and this is the time to receive what it is that you're desiring. Do not cut yourself off from receiving, and allow this challenge here to be a breakthrough in your receivership. Because I know many times I want it, but this is the time I get to receive it. I can hold it, and now I get to create with it.
That's it. I love this too. And Katie, you said, I never know where to start. This is the brilliant part, because this is what we're going to do right now. Because I agree. We get in this excitement, and this is why we want to be not only feeling, but practical. What can you do in this challenge so that every time we're meeting, you go, okay, I'm doing this next, right? Because how many times have you gone to these amazing, master classes or these, challenges, and then you go, oh, it felt so good. Now what do? We hold ourselves back. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you a very simple framework and a practical way to not only begin telling your story, but how to grow through and with it. Now, there are 5 steps, to storytelling that moves people to take an action, moves people to impact, moves people to feel, and then, of course, moves them into enrollment, saying yes to you, paying you. Right? How often do we get stuck at I don't deserve to be paid? We all deserve that. And that's the moment when you are committing today to say, I am going to be visible, then you deserve to receive whatever that energetic connection is, or whatever that energy exchange is that you're asking for. You deserve it. And this is the type of framework that I utilize for thousands and thousands of clients. We've launched in the last 10 years over 2,000 plus brands and products with clients that have stepped on the stage and said yes, and have converted them into clients. Who wants that? How fun does that feel?
Yeah. And right? As a spoiler alert, everyone, too, Rhonda's about to share this formula. And part of your homework, you're actually going to have an opportunity to take this formula. We're only going to dive into the nuts and bolts of it a little bit, but you're going to take the formula and actually do a video into the Facebook group tonight, whatever it is, to be able to do that. So spoiler alert, we're going to bring this right into practice.
All right, let's do this. Okay, so there's 5 steps. We're going to talk about the very first step today. And the first step is clarity of your message, the most important. I'm going to go deeper into the clarity of message. The next is positioning yourself as the guide, not necessarily the hero, right? If you remember in Hunger Games, that Candace Everdeen, she became the hero. But then what happened? She also then became the guide, right? There's a way that we, often we'll be the hero. We keep being the hero. However, in order to get someone to move, you've got to be the guide that shows them the step of the way of how to get to that result that you're promising. There's a difference between being the guide and the hero. Next is inviting them into your story. Michelle Gabriel here, she's the most beautiful storyteller, right? And she talks about how to engage them. There is a story that fits in every moment of what you're doing in whether it's your selling, whether it's your connection, your impact. There is a story. We have to learn how to find that one story that helps people move into the moment and where you are. And then observe the next is providing a plan of action and calling them to action. Now, I'm going to actually step into moving through just the first one, and then we're going to bring Barbie out. But I want everyone to really internalize this. Take a screenshot of this. We will be sending out the 5 steps, and we're going to give you the homework that we're going to do in the Facebook group. You can be ready to do it tomorrow. If you're not in there, we can make sure that, Mary, can you make sure we drop the Facebook group link in there to make sure they're in there? Because you're going to take this exact formula and we're going to share it. All right, next step. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move into, I know it sounds silly, but it really is the most important is the clarity of your message. Now, how clear do you have to be to have a caveman give you the grunt test positive, saying, I get it. I got it. How often, I'm just going to put you into something. How often have you met someone and you ask them what they do? And what are the first things that some of them say? Oh, I am a this, I'm a healer, I'm a coach, I'm a this, I'm a that. I do this, and then I bring people into this space, and then I have this, and you're sitting there, and this is not to down anyone, because unless we have the formula, it happens. How often have we found ourselves 30 minutes into listening to someone, and when they leave, we're not sure what they do or how they can actually support or help us, or how we can help them and give them a referral or help them get more clients through our knowledge of what they do. Has that ever happened? I'm going to reveal something. The first time I shared my business with a very, very close friend, we call it, you just kind of throw up on them. I told them everything about my business, what I was doing. I literally just blasted her. And she said, thanks for that. I have no idea what it is that you're doing. You sound like you're excited. And guess what? She never asked me again. I've known this woman for 16 years. And what happens, these are moments in time when we are putting ourselves not only out there, but we're committing to creating a result or an impact. We have offerings, we have things that we are looking to help create and help people with our solution. But guess what? If it doesn't pass the grunt test formula, the moment we tell them what we do and they can't get it, guess what happens? We're causing our audience too much mental bandwidth to understand. If we're asking our audience, I'm going to say that again, to use too much mental bandwidth, meaning figuring out what it is that we do, they're going to move on. They're not going to say yes. And the downfall and the cost of not getting clear with our message is that you might be better than someone, but the person that can communicate how well they can solve a problem better, faster, easier, with no mental bandwidth, passing the grunt test, they will choose them over you and over price, or even over how quality of work you do. Does that make sense? You get that? So go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and if you've had moments of those where you've felt like the Rhonda moments you've shared, you're like, I don't think that landed. Or you're like, heard someone, you're like, I really don't know what they do. The grunt test formula gets to be the thing that we play with. And oftentimes it's the both and. It's the transmission of the energy and that all-inness of it, that it has someone go, yes, I feel you, with the clarity of the message. And you're going to have practice plans and be part of the homework. What you do plus your desired outcome of the client. I turn best kept secrets into world-renowned brands. We create sexy brands and turn them into profit-making machines. I empower and inspire people to create a life by their own design. It's like my version of it. So there's like ways that we get to kind of work this. And I can't understand myself what I'm saying, so I need clarity.
So I need clarity. Okay. So this is what I want. This is going to be the homework you're going to take. And this is the formula. And it's simple. And it doesn't ever change. Our company, everyone knows. When someone asks me, what is it you do? I'm Rhonda Swan, the CEO of the Unstoppable Branding Agency. I turn best kept secrets into world-renowned brands. What I do is I create best kept secrets. But what the desired outcome of the client is, they want a world-renowned brand. You get that? We create sexy brands. That's what I do. And we turn them into profit-making machines. That's what my clients want. It's the simplest formula, and it's the easiest way to be in a great conversation with someone. And they say, oh, what is it that you do? If you don't have your clarity message statement that can, like that, instant, then what's going to happen, right? There's that back pedal. That's when all that stuff starts to download. So this is where structure will give us freedom. Write down this formula, what you do, plus the desire and the outcome of the client. That's the formula. And so for tomorrow, you're either going to share it in a video, or you can write it out and post it in the Facebook group. And then we're going to assist you, and someone is going to be chosen tomorrow to actually nail it and share it. And again, this is our next step, right? When we say we want to be visible, this is the start. And this is your start to now not only being visible, but being clear. And others landing, right? It landing. And I love this, Penny. Exactly. Penny's like, I don't want to use jargon or overuse words to communicate what you do, because it doesn't land for people if it's too flowery. And that is a really good thing to remember. Sometimes we love to get, exciting with our words, but if someone doesn't understand the words that you use, and you're speaking to an audience that you can really make a difference on. In fact, I'll give a really quick example, and then we're going to bring out Barbie Layton to share with us, is that I had a really beautiful meeting with one of our authors, and she does incredible work. I mean, I'm talking healing traumas, removing past traumas that you've had in your life. But the words were coming out in a little bit more on a spiritual and a little bit more flowery way. Nothing wrong with it if that's your audience. But her audience, she wanted to grow and move from high-level executives pulling out that trauma so they can have more success. So, well, then why don't we just say that, right? Because when we get too wordy and too flowery, it sometimes doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't actually feel like a result that you can create for someone. So there's a time and a place for some of our flowery words, but then there's a time and place that says, this is what I do, because the framework and the structure and the conviction, right? When we work with our clients, we give them the 3 C's, right? Being clear, concise, and convicted. When I say I create sexy brands, I'm turning them into profit-making machines, people are like, I want that, right? So we want to create that.
Yeah, some good questions here. So desire belongs to the client, or is it my desire?
Great. It's the desire of the client, right? So what is it that they want? You're saying what you do, but you've got to share what the result is that you can give them that they want. That's the most important piece, is reminding or thinking about, who is my client? What is it that I can do for them? Just one. I want you to all think of just one client, one person that you can give a result to, and think about them when you're writing out who is desire and their desired outcome that they're looking for from you.
Yeah. I know some of us here are multi-expressive creators, and they're like, don't nail me into a box. I do so many things, especially I can really speak to that. And, and some of you might not have client service-based businesses. This might actually relate to this statement. It could be what you do in your family. This could be a statement of what you do in your community. So know that having something and being known for something, we all have it. If we're like, that's the friend that always brings me chicken soup when I feel sick, but that's the friend that I go out with, on weekends, and we have the time of our life. Or that's the person who helps me in PR, like Rhonda. Yep. Or for me, I create clarity for people in transitions. It's oh, she's the clarity person who helps people in transitions. Being able to be grunt tested of who's the person who helps catalyze that part. And if this is foreign, don't, beat yourself up over exactly having this thing, but play with it. And if some of you know this now, you can even put it in the chat as we start to, queue up our guest speaker here in a moment. But get a little dry test here in the chat right now. What is it that you do? I like to say it's the arc of transformation. What's the benefit that you create for someone? What happens when someone's in your world? People get clarity. I'm a magnet for people in transitions. They get clarity when they're in my world. So what is the thing that you create for people in your world? And then what happens, as Rhonda shared, she gets to turn best kept secrets into world-renowned brands. That happens. People then get to find, and create their next level in their life or business in my world. And so you get to decide that on yourself. So I got uncovered talents into successful badass is awesome. So we'll go ahead, give yourself a little go here, test this out in the spirit of visibility. Don't be like, oh, I don't have it or whatever. In the spirit of visibility, play with it. And as Rhonda shared, as well, this gets to be the time we not only activate our voice, but we play with that in the group overnight tonight.
I love it. Yeah. So have some time with it. But what we want to do now is while we're, filling in and feeling into this and play with it, because it's not about the restriction. It's about having the structure so that no matter what, you have instant recall. And that makes me think right now, obviously why Barbie Layton came to the stage is because Barbie, one thing about you, and let me just do a quick introduction. I'll have you also introduce yourself. Barbie Layton is not only a scientifically proven quantum healer, she works within frequencies, helps those manifest what it is that they want out of their life through her power of her frequency and her manifestations. Like, this is how I know Barbie. And I'm just saying this because I know that about her, because Barbie has shared this not only every single time I meet her, but more importantly, she shows it. Right. So this is why I wanted to bring you out, Barbs, because, if we can create these formulas and say what we do, but unless we embody it and we do the work, right, it's not authentic. And I think that's where, Penny, you're getting from. It's like, it has to be authentic. And Barbie, you of all people, about being visible. I mean, sister, I'm not going to share it. I want you to come out here, introduce yourself more deeply. Barbie Layton is one of our authors in the Wealth Book of Women Gone Wild. And I can't even list the things that Barbie's done. So Barbie Layton, coming out here, babe. Welcome to the Art of Being Visible and joining me and Jules.
Thank you. It was amazing. I loved everything you guys shared. And Jules, you and I have definitely a lot in common for sure. Basically, I wrote about in the book. In 2016, basically, I've had over 5 near-death experiences, and I literally in 2016 I had the diagnosis of a chronic illness which doesn't have any cure to it, and I was just like, you know what? Screw it. If you literally know that you don't really like every single day is your last day that you're living it, what is your money for? So I started literally dressing outrageously, wearing all sorts of like designer clothes all over the place, and just found that the frequency of the way people were showing up for me was completely different, because it was this dance of intimacy between myself and others. And ultimately, when you asked me to be on this for the art of visibility, I realized that I've done everything backwards. Everything. I did not do anything right. I didn't do anything with the formula, didn't do anything with the algorithms. I wasn't even on social media until 2020. I literally didn't even join Instagram until 2023. Like, literally, I did everything from a global reputation with word of mouth. And obviously now I'm kind of like reacting to a different space. But literally, it's in the sense of where when you have the opportunity of the pandemic literally was such a huge eye opener for so many people. I mean, it was such a big tragic thing, but it was a way that nobody had ever dealt with things before. And for me, I already felt like 2016 had been my pandemic, because I've lived in Asia, I've lived in Europe, I've gone to all of the states of the United States, 35 countries. I love to travel. And so this illness, literally this diagnosis was like, boom, you just got a lot smaller in what you were doing in your life, which really sucked. But in 2020, what was so amazing is that I went to Mind Valley Live and I met Vishen in person and Keith Ferrazzi and all these other really cool people. And then 13 days later, the entire world shut down. But the good news was that because I was connected to all these different people, everybody went to Facebook, right? So everybody went to Facebook and it all kind of like closed down. And so everyone was starting to like talk to each other from that perspective. And then from there we had Zoom, and then from the evolution of that. So just, kind of taking you back. But what was so cool is the fact that I told the universe, it said, whatever you put in front of me, I will say yes to. You just need to find a way to be able to make it happen for me, and I will become unstoppable. And from there, literally, my whole life, people have told me to tone it down, tone it down, tone it down. And it's like, that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to literally broadcast out the frequency as high as possible to be of service to as many people. Because again, when we're of service to other people and it's not about us, it's like literally you have these opportunities, experiences, and people that literally, like what you were talking about, Jules, with the TEDx talk, just like manifest out of nowhere. And so literally it's like, and I teach people about the sacred yes in your body and the sacred no. And it's like when it's a sacred yes and you're like, yes, it's like basically for me, that's in my chest. But if it's a no, it's in my stomach. And if everyone kind of feels into that, then you can really, really start to tap into your own intuition. So I literally I took an intuition course. I literally started doing hundreds of free clearings for people around the world. And I mean, like it was over probably 100 countries that I hit just because I wanted to fine tune my craft. And now, of course, I do it professionally and I love it because being able to work with CEOs and people, a lot of times the biggest problem for people who are millionaires and billionaires is that they're bored because they've done every single thing that is known to man. They've hit every single milestone. And so for me in my branding, I feel like I bring joy back into people who've lost their joy because they've done everything. And it's like really giving them the GPS of how the universe kind of speaks to them. But from there, it's like I talk about identity shifting. Like this is one of my probably 20 plus wigs. Every time people see me, they're like Greg Reed from Secret Knock. He's like, every time I see you, you look completely different. And it's like, yes, because the universe likes to play. The universe likes the childlike wonder. The universe likes the suspending disbelief. Because all the stuff that I was telling people, like what you were saying, Rhonda, it sounded crazy. Like, what do you mean you're in USA Today? What do you mean you're in Forbes? What do you mean? I mean, like literally, we have their best-selling book. We were on 4 billboards. I've been on this best-selling book last year. I was in Goss magazine. I was in Los Angeles Tribune Thought Leader Edition. I was in Ageless. I was in Wild magazine. I was in the other Wild magazine with the gorgeous Rhonda on it as well. I wrote an article for the Los Angeles Tribune magazine. I'm just looking at all this stuff and I'm just like, and that's just the stuff that's in print. And it's
Right.
like, and then I just was on my 6th billboard on the 3rd of January for my movie that just premiered. That's on Amazon Prime about energy medicine with people that are in the secret. And it's like mind blown, but it's because of the fact that I say yes. I say yes, I say yes. And I show up, I show up, I show up, I show up, and I show up again. And I have an autoimmune illness. It's like, it's something over, I'm tired. And the universe says, we don't care. You need to get your ass out there and go do what you need to do. And as a result, this last weekend, I got to go to Lee Steinberg's Super Bowl party and hang out with Sharon Osbourne and Dr. Oz and Kelly Dodd. And then I was literally at the Magic Johnson party afterwards. And Paul McCartney was sitting across from us at Fontainebleau. I mean, just like, holy moly, like just so, but I have this new phrase that I call it, it's not crazy, it's crazy amazing. And this, and then just opening it up. So I'm literally at this event and this lady goes, oh, I love your vibe. You need to come to Secret Knock. And Secret Knock is like, the #1 networking group that you can't get a ticket to. You have to be invited. So from there, now I'm on their advisory council. And now I get invited to this and then invited to that and invited to, it's literally everything is about credibility, visibility, and then leveraging all those kind of things to be able to have the opportunity to be able to get to that next space. And I love that because I'm a super connector. I'm just a natural super connector. I love connecting people back and forth to each other to be able to find these beautiful threads of the universe.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I know there's so many things. And I think I'm just also echoing, got a lot of woohoos, unashamed. I love it. The sacred yes, so valuable. And, some of the things that I want to highlight, and I know, Rhonda, you wanted to jump in as well, so I definitely want to go over to you as well, is the power of visibility. And oftentimes there's visibility as a concept. There's an imagination. When I become visible, I imagine these things could happen. But we really have no idea, as you said, what that saying yes shows up to. You said yes to doing Rhonda's book, the Wealth Edition book. We're actually doing a new book here, the 3rd book, Leadership, which I know some of you here. We're going to have that opportunity for all of you. If you want to be a multi-author of a book, we're going to talk about that opportunity as we move throughout this visibility. So who knew one yes of a book and then who you were before then creates the domino effect of yeses that then allows visibility not to be a concept, but to be an experience. And it's really easy to say no to a concept. And when you live, and this is for all of us, you choose, is visibility to me a concept? Because if I'm saying no, or I'm afraid of visibility as a concept, then it's just that. But when you start understanding visibility as an experience, of course it's crazy awesome. It's not going to be crazy. Of course you're sitting across from Paul McCartney. Of course these things are happening. Soon you're going to have like a whole bucket of, stacks of things, because that is what is inevitable. Visibility is inevitable as an experience. And I just think that distinction is really important. And Rhonda, I want to go to you as well, because I know I got to see a little before and after of you that Rhonda showed me on a photo of what it was like.
It wasn't Barbie's. That's not Barbie's. But I do have something to show Barbie. But Barbie, first off, I want to give you so much. Just shine the spotlight on you. Because Barbie, like really, I want you to feel that. Anyone that knows Barbie knows that you can rely every single thing you post. We have a big collaboration group where we're just sharing and communicating and what's going on with us, because we know it's energy and cycles. And Barbie is the number one that will always comment. She will always give you feedback. She will always be the first to like what you do. She will always be the first to give you or to be your cheerleader. Barbie, that alone is also why the universe is matching, right? You know this. We match it. I'll just go. Sometimes no one shares anything. No one even shares anything that I do. But if I keep going, all of a sudden the universe is like, look, she's going. And then the universe gets on the same train with us. I am on the Barbie train every single day. I love swimming in your ocean, Barbie, because this is why you can pull up the plethora of print magazines you're in. You can even share the digital stuff, but I do have something to share though, Barbie. Check this out. What do you remember about this? Hold on.
Oh yeah.
You talk us out of it. You talk us through this one, Barbie. What is this?
Oh my God, that is cycling with Kim Kardashian on the wings of the Coca-Cola stack in Times Square in June of 2022, and our book launch for Women Gone Wild. It was literally just epic, and we just kept scrolling through too, because initially there was the salmon and the blueberries and the oranges, and we kept looking for our billboard. But it was just such an epic thing. And then you did another billboard last year for Intuition, and I was in that one, so that was my fifth one. And then doing the third, the one on January 3rd, and it was literally a sizzle reel of myself standing there with it's literally where the earthcam.com is when you go on for Times Square. That is the billboard that we were on. It was 120 feet by 120 feet with all the steps there, and everyone was like clapping and cheering. It was just like, again, these are these surreal, amazing moments. And I met these amazing people that now we're really good friends, etc. And it's like, my TV show just got picked up by a new streaming service, and then I've got 5 other books that are coming out this year as well too. And then with the movie, that'll be on Amazon Prime, Beyond Physical Matter, at the end of the month too. It's just like, it's just so phenomenal to have these type of things. But yes, I am a galactic cheerleader. I believe in what Carl Rogers talks about with unconditional positive regard, which is prizing. I love to prize people. If I'm in the elevator and I see someone and they have some cool shoes, I like your shoes. I like your hair. I like this. I like that. If we're thinking about it, people are so stingy with their compliments. It's like, compliment people. Tell them that you like what they're wearing. Tell them they put a lot of effort in. Your smile, I mean, even like that was a big deal when I was on the Best You Expos. It's like all the delivery people that came during the pandemic, I always had those little Kinder chocolate bars, and I would put a frequency of 528 hertz into it. I would just bless all of the places that this person had to work so hard for. And they would walk away and I'd say, wait a second. And I'd give them the chocolate bar and they would just light up. And it's like, we never know that person might have had such a hard day, and that chocolate bar might have been the most delicious thing that had love in it that they needed. And so that's the part too, in the sense of where I help people re-fall in love with themselves, because there's so many places of where we don't get all this kudos. We don't get people telling us atta girls and you're doing a good job, because we're just sitting here working in silence and doing all these things too. But when I just look at all the things that have been manifested in the last, 3 or 4 years, I'm at the freaking UN on the 28th of May with the secret knock advisory, in New York with the government of Malawi. I mean, like literally, again, mind blowing things that are just so incredible. But it's because, as you said, it's the cheerfulness. It's the fact that I show up, but I show up in my divine feminine to be able to be of service to other people. And I love working with my clients when they say, this is gone, that's gone, this is taken care of, you help me with this too. It's like, it is such a great honor to be able to work with people, again, who have everything, and regular people too, to let them up level to the next phase of their lives. And I'm the demonstration, because I'm the person that has had, my illness isn't gone yet, and a lot of times it's a lot of exertion for me to go to these events, but I'm always like, universe, give me what I need to be able to go and do this.
Barbie, I love so much of what you're saying there. I mean, just the chat is popping off on all of it and the realness of it. And I think my question for you is, I think sometimes, it's like, okay, she figured it out. This could be a conversation in some people's mind. How does a person go from this desire of I want to be visible to the results? And I know that this, Wild Book was a big catalyst in that. And just for those that might be hearing some of that in their own minds of like, okay, but could I actually, is that actually possible for me? And if you could, I know we're getting close to our time here, but what was happening in your world, kind of before and what happened as a result of the book? And especially for those that might be maybe having that as a conversation in their mind, I know was a big part of it. And so I'd love for you just to speak to that a little bit.
Thank you. Well, I mean, I worked a regular job for, 20 plus years. I did a lot of service-based things for a lot of people. I worked with prison populations. I worked with refugees. I worked with Holocaust survivors. I worked with a lot of different people. And I really got to see the humanity of people and the commonalities that we have. I really like to focus on the commonalities, but it's also in the sense of where it's pattern disrupting. People have to pattern disrupt. That means today I'm a blonde, tomorrow I'm a redhead, the next day I'm a whatever the hell I want to be. It's the kind of thing of where you need to pattern disrupt your life. You need to literally jump up and say, okay, every day I go to work the same route, I have the same coffee, I have the same bagel, I have the same everything. If you literally do that, you put your life on autopilot. Everything about being in a book or a magazine or this or that, whatever, they're all pattern disruptors, because then your reticular activating system can start looking for other things. I teach people how to be able to train that, where they start looking and like, oh, this is what the universe wants for me. Oh, this is what the universe wants for me. I have a whole course called The Science of Signs, which was a divine download in 2012 that teaches people almost like having their own VR goggles of how the universe is connecting with them personally, because it's always talking to you. But half the time people don't know what it's exactly saying. So saying yes to a book and then leveraging, my resources, going sometimes down to my last dollar, whatever it took. Seriously, I mean, it's like, it's the kind of stuff of where it's like, if you have that white hot burning desire, that's that Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. When you have that white hot burning desire and you know that you need to have something out there that's your mission and your purpose and it's good for you, it could even be starting an Etsy business of where you like to do macrame. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, whatever brings you passion and joy, that's where we have to go and squeeze the juice out of life in that sense. Because a lot of people are too stuck on the autopilot and all the negativity that they're barraged with. So this is the pattern disruptor of where you get into a place of where some people might call it delusional, but you're in your delusional aspect of it, of identity shifting. You literally allow yourself to future vision the next version of yourself and play with it. Play with what feels good. And one exercise I can tell everybody that's a really good thing is when you FaceTime somebody and you go on a Zoom, think about how you feel on the inside and then take a selfie of yourself and ask yourself, does my outside exterior appearance match what I'm feeling on the inside? Because I experimented that for a while, and it was something of like, oh, that's not congruent, the way that I feel today, and that's not displaying on my outside. So getting those to match, the inside and the outside to match, but literally show up. I always tell people, if you want a new car, go to the car dealership and go feel what it feels like to be behind the wheel of that car and how it torques. If you want a new house, go to an open house and go to the house that's maybe your dream house. If you want to go to hang out with like beautiful hotels, go sit in a lobby of the Biltmore in Los Angeles or some gorgeous hotel where it doesn't cost you anything to be there. None of those things cost any money, but it's literally getting you into the vibe of what does it feel like to be in that space, and then imagining yourself in that space later on, and then knowing that it's going to take time. I mean, all of this manifested over a 3 to 4 year period, but I said yes to every single thing that was brought in front of me that resonated with my sacred yes. And I'm just getting started.
And this is where it rolls out. I mean, this is Barbie, be able to witness watching this roll out for you and just continuing to not only be in support, but then what happens? The more support Barbie's in, everyone else wants to start supporting her. She's a supporter. This is where it just adds on and starts to compound and having a compound effect to it. And this is really, Barbie, I want to thank you first off for being you, for stepping into that space that you called out. Like you called out, like you wanted it, right? And the moment, this is why this is such an important conversation that we now, we're in February, right, of 2024. Like it's moving fast. Like, call it out. What do we want? How can we support each other in creating and manifesting and bringing all of this forward for us? And I'm so not only honored to be able to be next to you, to read your chapter. I mean, we want to, any of you, if you haven't gotten this one, this is the wealth edition. This is where the women were redefining wealth and what wealth really means truly to them. And Barbie shares in her chapter, like, truly how to redefine wealth, how to ask for it. Barbie, what was your chapter number again?
I do not know what chapter number it is.
We'll make sure we find it for you. But you'll get able to access that on our WGW book. But Jules, why don't we bring everyone to that space so we can read? Let's close the doors on this one so that we can bring everyone forward into tomorrow. We'll share with you what we're going to do tomorrow. And Barbie, before you go, I am going to show that video of us in Times Square, like rocking it next to these big old billboards, so they can really anchor in what is it like, what's possible, just by saying yes.
Yeah, and before you play that video, Barbie, once again, thank you so much for being here. So great to feel your energy. Barbie, you're so inspiring. Love your vibe. Lots of great comments in the chat. A lot of good nuggets there. And also, just sharing, for those that might not be familiar with the Women Gone Wild book, we are going to talk about it a lot throughout, especially since we are doing our leadership book. It is a way, if you've ever had the desire to write a book, to share your story, to be more visible at scale, and to do it in community. It's a multi-author book. I know you were one of 25 that were a part of that book. That book then actually, goes into a major publisher. It then has the opportunity to be signed with Barnes & Nobles. What she's going to show is that they did a billboard in Times Square. And from the publicity, 4 billboards, as Barry's saying, from the publicity of that book, it's leveraging the collective power of visibility. And that's also what I want you all to get. Rhonda and I are coming together, Barbie coming together. It's the collective power of visibility. 2024, we are in collective power. And you don't have to do this on your own. And it's also not effective, in my opinion. No. It's like you can be the big fish of, your own pond, of a small pond, or be in a bigger pond together and see the ripple we compound together. And that's the advantage of these multi-author books. So just to kind of share, we're going to talk a little bit about the book, just so you understand, it's a bunch of amazing people, women coming together, Women Gone Wild, sharing their stories and collectively leveraging that, and that creating some really expansive visibility. And to hear and see, not only in the first book, then also in Intuition, what has happened by saying yes to the book that has then been a catalyst of so many other things. I know is just the beginning of all the yeses, and it's such a great reminder. And yes. I can't wait to see what you do next time.
Well, it just lends also to, I know often people say, gosh, I feel like I'm like pulling up a big truck up a sandy hill, right? But that's why we're shifting that energy so that now there's no pulling. It's all support and leverage and going and continuing. And that's what creates momentum. Just this year alone, the Wealth book was a catalyst for this new series, right? And what WILD stands for. And please know, if you're a man on here, don't worry. We got a men's book coming out too this year for you. So don't think it's all women conversation. We're going to tease on that at the end of this series, of this challenge. But what WILD stands for is that someone that attracts integral wealth, that does the work, attracts integral wealth, that leans in and listens to your intuition. That's that body vibe. What are we feeling our gut? Like, ooh, is that right? We were talking about that earlier. Like, how do we not only attract all this amazing energy, but how do we then know when it isn't right for us? That's intuition. Then L is leadership, embracing and standing into our leadership, this new earth leadership, women, men coming together, bringing the family unit together and helping not only create more positively in this world, but impacting and falling in love with our impact so that we can create a better world. And then last is D, is diversity, right? Embracing all of our diversity. We're all so different, not only culturally, where we come from, what we look like, how we speak, but embracing everyone's zone of genius. And that's where this WILD series came from, and why Jules and I have said, let's partner on this, because we've got now 50 unbelievable, actually 75 women, because we did the first book, Women Gone Wild, The Feminine Guide to Fearless Living. First book launched, Amazon bestseller, killed it. Then we said, okay, well, now what more, right? What's possible? And I get this from Barbie. What more is possible? I was actually in a hospital bed. I went through surgery. I almost died of sepsis. I woke up and Spirit said, you need to be more visible. You need to write a series. You have to bring more women, help create the platform. And that's something that I do well. My transmission is expansion. And then 50 more women have said yes into this wild series. Like it brings so much tears to my eyes, because this was a vision that I had, you know, kind of coming out of the hospital bed, like, what more? Because my old self was such a hardcore corporate woman that I was, you know, stepping over my sisters to get to the top, leaving dead corpses of my sisters behind, because I was taught that I had to be at the top and push everyone down, especially women. And so now to say, wow, we together can collectively create a space for all of us to thrive in, to share our story, to be visible. And this is why this is such a beautiful bow for all of us to just share and to leverage all of our core competencies to grow. You know, like Jules and I partnered. 50 other women have already partnered with Women Gone Wild, and they're constantly, we're doing different events. Here, Barbie's like, come here, go to Secret Knock. Like, it goes wild, right? Because the moment you say yes, opportunities come.
Yeah.
And that's really what, you know, what this is all about. So I want to thank you for certainly being here, Barbie, and sharing that and being part of it, and welcoming those of you that are feeling this vibe. Come inside. Let's play wild.
Yeah, totally. Well, with that, no, we will have some invitations of some concrete ways of how you can participate. Like Rhonda said, we teamed up for the leadership book. So if you've ever thought about doing a book, or maybe you've never thought about doing a book, but you've thought about taking the stage, we've got a formula of how you can really amplify visibility at scale. Barbie, you're definitely a testament of what happens when you say yes to amplifying visibility at scale. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I just want to say for all of us here, you know, let's just take a breath. I know that was a lot. We did a really big session today. And so just taking a moment, maybe just reach your arms up overhead and just breathing it in and breathing it out. And just coming back into your heart and maybe feeling your heart, closing your eyes for just a quick second and just receiving all of where we've been, you know, coming back to that space of saying yes to the I am. Allowing the vulnerability of where you've been, the fear of success or the fear of failure, illness, the different things, just the fear of what gets in our way, to say, I am someone who gets to expand. And allowing your heart just to fill with that yumminess as you get to plant that seed like we did in that activation for yourself here, and be in a conversation that supports miracles, and being in a container that compounds your miracles. And just feeling that in your heart, we'll give that just one more breath in. And breathing out, opening your eyes if they're closed. Letting this be the beginning for all of us. And I just want to honor you all for being in this conversation. Rhonda and I have some amazing things in store. We've got 2 more guest speakers over the next couple of days, but that we get to normalize, this is the year we do it together. We get to normalize, we're all human, we're all scared, and we're all powerful as shit. I'll say that because I'm not going to swear. Powerful as F. Really. And it is in the dynamic power that the only prerequisite to that is your full ownership of saying, I am the gift, as you all said. I am the gift. And when you fully own I am the gift, and I unsubscribe to all those disempowering conversations, today, this is the last day. You unsubscribe. So catch yourself in your awareness of those conversations in your life that your friends have, that you have with others, your partner, you unsubscribe. And then tonight in the homework, I want you to take this framework. And my challenge for you, and our challenge of the homework, is to go live in the Facebook group or to upload a video. And if you can't do that and you're not in the Facebook group, Mary, will you please go ahead and put the link again, join the Facebook group. And this is a testament of being visible. This is not even about the video. What you say is actually irrelevant. It is really just about your initiation of saying, I am the gift and I'm worthy of taking up space on this Facebook thread. I am the gift and I'm worthy of having a story. And I'm going to pattern interrupt, as Barbie said. I am going to pattern interrupt my usual scheduled programming because I'm going to stand for something different. And we can't create extraordinary if we're in the routine. So you got to interrupt the usual scheduled programming. And I want you to go live and actually share that formula. We're going to put that formula in the Facebook group. You're going to find this session. We're going to put out their homework in a specific way. So that exact formula, what you do, the desire and the intention. Or if you don't remember the formula, just go share your story. and share who you are, what you're up to, and what visibility means to you. And maybe you share that stage that you came out from when we all clapped and the music went off after the meditation. But you remember that there. So go live in the group, get connected, introduce yourself, do a live or post a video, see the homework that's in there as well. Come back tomorrow when we dive into day 2, which is going to be amazing of what we're going with. Before I talk about day 2, Rhonda, anything you want to add as we wrap up here?
Yeah, it's just really beautiful. We've got a lot of our authors already here now that have just been creating just beauty in their life, and and share that, share more about what's transpired, because you say yes to so many different things, and let's bring this community together in such a grand way. I have my biggest vision, and I hold it every day, is that 80,000 women will be in a Coliseum sharing their wild story. I've held that, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be up here consistently sharing and inspiring and bringing this forward. However, that's part of my work. That's what I want to give to the world. And so let's come and do that together and say yes, right? We're going to have a movie by the end of the series, and we're all going to be in 80,000 women in a Coliseum. That's quantum. That's happening already.
It's quantum. So tomorrow is all about day 2. We're going to talk about maximizing your online presence and mastering media exposure. And I want you to really commit to yourself. If you know you can be here for all these sessions, be here. It's 3 days. It's like what Rhonda said. Don't be the person that says, I'm ready to be visible, and then you stop taking swings. I said, I'm ready to be visible, and this week I'm hosting a challenge. I'm practicing guitar. 50 people are coming on a house concert on Sunday, and I'm leaving Monday for a TEDx. I said I was ready to be visible, and I'm going to keep taking swings, and I'm not going to sabotage. Don't let your schedule, your exhaustion, your tiredness, your fear manifest as kill switches for your greatness. Y'all, this is the time. I will not kill my greatness. Put that in the chat. I will not kill my greatness. This is the moment you don't kill your greatness.
Yes, amen.
You've got things going on. You can grab the bundle. It's $33. You literally, for $11 a day, can get one of these sessions. It's insane. You'll have a couple days after the recording. Mary, if you can put the link to the bundle page, if you want to get these replays, come back to them forever. We're going to make a nice workbook out of it. It's our way that we keep our administrative costs. We're not getting rich off $33, I'll tell you that much, but we are supporting y'all in our administration to have this. And so know you can take advantage of that as well. So come here tomorrow. Choose to be here. Choose to stay in the visible conversation. It's 3 days of your life. And you never know, as Barbie said, that pile of magazines that you're going to have by saying yes to one thing. You never know the domino effect, and you do not kill your greatness. So
see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to be unstoppable, stay wild, and live unconventional.